Okay, so in your last lesson, you learned how to open files or create a new file and how to save a file, and we learned a little bit about the overall environment of AutoCAD. This time, we're going to talk about how to open existing files. From our last exercise, we actually had a file that we created and kept in this location here. We called it CAD 100 S010 ENW L1A1. That stood for the class, the semester, the year, the initials of the individual doing it, and also the assignment, homework, or lesson number. So now the question is, how do I open this file back up in AutoCAD? A couple of different ways to do it. One, typically, and is usually the easiest, is to simply click on the file from inside the folder that you've kept it at and hit enter. You may get this screen on there. If you do, you might want to go ahead and activate using your free code from Autodesk if you got a free download from them. And it opens the file right up. Now that's the quick and easy way to do it. However, it's not the only way. We'll talk about the other way here in a second. Before we do that, we need to close it down. A couple of different ways to close files down. Notice that there are a set of X's, minimize and maximize, located right here in the corner of the screen. There's also a set up in the top right here. Keep in mind, this is for the individual file. This is for the program itself, because AutoCAD's a program without a file running. This just allows you to minimize or close out the particular files. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close the file back down, and AutoCAD is still running and still available. This time I'm going to open up the same file from inside of AutoCAD. I remembered that I saved it in My Documents. I go into My Documents, I find the particular folder it's in, find the file, click on it, and hit Open. Simple and easy to do, no problems at all. So that's the basic way that you open a file and have it ready to go. Again, keep in mind the trick is to know where the file is by creating folders and such to keep it in a nice safe place. Now another important thing to start off with AutoCAD and learning how to draw is you have to understand the concept of units. For example, we may be drawing something in inches, we may be drawing something in feet, we may be drawing something in metric. So the first thing we have to discuss is what is a unit in AutoCAD. First off, understand this, AutoCAD is infinite space. And in reality, it's kind of what we refer to as unitless. It means if I draw a 1 unit line, it's a unit line. It could be a unit of centimeters, it could be millimeters, it could be meters, it could be light years actually. We have that as a setting. So there's a couple different ways to interpret units. To begin with, we're going to typically work in imperial, which means some of the settings are based off imperial. Now, you can switch to metric, or you can just assume an object is unitless and learn how to dimension it later on for either one, which we'll talk about later. So let's talk about the unit setup right at the beginning. So, to set units for a particular drawing, you just simply type in units. You don't have to click your cursor anywhere in particular, you just start typing. UNITS. Or you can just type in UN, either one, and hit enter. Brings up this nice little window that starts you off on the process. Length, decimal, in terms of type. You can have decimal, architectural, engineering, fractional, scientific. Let's talk about these for a second. If I have units of architectural, okay, what it means is that it allows fractions to be typed in. For example, a 5/3 or 1/2. If I leave it at decimal, it doesn't really acknowledge the whole fractional as well. Okay, it can still take it, but it's still the readouts aren't the same, and you'll kind of understand that as we get into dimensioning and those types of things. So just kind of keep in mind, you start off in decimal, or you can switch to architectural, or you have the option of engineering. Now you can look in your book and kind of learn the differences between each one, and depending on what type of field you may be going into, there's a different unit format. You'll notice one thing in terms of precision, and that is a foot marker and an inch marker. Okay. Now in architectural, if I type in 12 and hit enter as a measurement, that equals the equivalent of 1 foot. If I type in 1 and hit enter, that equals the equivalent of 1 inch. However, if I type in 1 and hit apostrophe, the apostrophe right here, that'll equal 1 foot. So that's one major difference there. So typically for us starting off, we're going to be with decimal. Our precision, that being the number of decimal places a unit can be, or round it off to, we'll leave it set as it is. Typically 3 is fine, but it's 4, so we'll leave it there. And we'll leave the setting of insertion. Insertion is the fact that if you bring drawings into this file, you want them to scale based on inches. The angle, decimal degrees, that's pretty standard. Precision, we don't need any decimal places of precision for degrees there. Also, while we're talking about it, just in case you want to know, angle is based on a clockwise rotation and counterclockwise. A positive angle is counterclockwise, a negative angle is clockwise, which just allows you to change it if you want to. Alright, so that's units. Again, to access that window, you just type in UNITS and open it up. So, assuming that you have your AutoCAD file open at this point in time, maybe take a moment, type in units, hit enter, and bring it up and make a few changes, check out a few things, just remember where it is. That's units. So, that kind of handles the next little bit of information you need for this video. Check out the next one as we'll start you on into the process of drawing lines and creating shapes. Goodbye and good luck.